Before you come at me for the thumbnail and title, hold on, I'm on Team Lumine here. I picked her as my traveler and I'm just as frustrated not seeing my own traveler on the event pages. Abyss Twin Aether is having the time of his life in my game. I've seen this discussion resurface due to the latest Not Cry event since Aether is on the event page regardless of what traveler you picked. So, let's talk about it and see if we can't throw some ideas around as to why we aren't getting a Lumine version when other gacha games seem to be able to include both of their protagonists. I've seen the claim that Hoyoverse has said that both travelers are canon, and I've also seen the reverse, saying that there is no canon traveler at all. So what's true? I did some digging and I think this statement comes from the customer service center as a reply. If this reply is true, either twin can play either role, whether that's the Traveler or the Abyss twin. But then why do we only see Aether playing the Traveler in most of the promotional materials? That's a question I cannot answer. Other titles like Honkai Star Rails and The Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves alternate between the two protagonists when it comes to promotional material. Heck, ZZZ has always drawn both of the proxies together in any event or main story artworks. That's probably due to both the siblings being present in the game, but regardless. Many online will tell you that it's because Aether is the canon traveler, but why would we be given the choice to choose if one role isn't canon to one of the twins? I fully understand sticking to certain roles for promotional materials like story trailers. Keeping Aether as the protagonist and Lumine as the princess helps their story trailers flow, but in-game event pages are different. You see them whenever you open your game, and it's odd to see the Abyss twin just chilling there. Why are the developers okay with putting in so much effort to ensure each traveler gets their own cinematic scenes in-game, but they draw the line at these animated event pages? I remember fans loving the amount of detail that they went into the playable twins as the traveler towards the beginning of the game. They had their own attack animations, and each twin had slightly different stats. They also have their own unique swords, and more recently they were given their own skins too. Clearly, there's a lot of love to be given to our protagonists in the game, but the official artworks are where they decide to cut corners. If you've been playing Genshin Impact for a while, you've probably noticed some of the voice lines not matching with your chosen traveler either. As I play Lumine, I get called a he a lot because the developers forget to switch all the lines over for the players who have the female traveler. And yes, this happens to the male traveler as well, but I notice it's not so often. There's also been this notion going around on social media that Lumine players are just now complaining about her lacking presence in these arts after 6 years. That's incorrect. This post I see talking about the customer service response goes back to 2021, and I remember seeing this conversation every time Aether appeared on an event page. It was a huge discussion when the Shadows and Mist Snowstorms event was released. Some players even tried to leave feedback asking for Lumine versions, but that never happened. We're relying on the artists of our community to create that Lumine version instead as we continue to get Aether in all of our events and in all of the new version artworks. This doesn't mean that the Traveler Lumine is left out of everything though. The Chinese community got chibi birthday arts featuring both of the travelers for some time, though the English versions just got Aether. On screen, I'll show you Jean's birthday artwork as an example that has both versions. In the web events, if the Traveler appeared, it would select the Traveler you have in your game. For Hoyo Fair events, both travelers were depicted, and the same goes for the anniversary artworks that they appeared in. I don't think the players who are asking for a Lumine version of the event pages are asking for that much. The developers have done the work to animate every in-game cutscene for each traveler and gave the twins their own unique little differences. In my eyes, this is laziness with the developers cutting corners. I've seen all sorts of points suggesting why Lumine doesn't get her own version, from limited mobile storage space to Lumine not being the canon traveler, but reality is the other big gacha games are able to do it. Genshin is the only one being stubborn in this regard, just like how Genshin is the only one that still forces you to farm for certain materials on specific calendar days. Yes, we have free reign now on the first week of a new banner, but come on, it should be free reign all the time. My answer as to why we don't get a Traveler Lumine on the event page is due to developer laziness. If we assume that customer service response is legit, then both travelers are equally canon in both the Traveler role and their Abyss roles. If we ever get the Abyss twin as a face of a future limited limited event, I'd want it to match the correct twin and not see Abyss Lumine on the page. That would arguably be worse, because imagine seeing Abyss Lumine while you're playing the Traveler Lumine on the event page. And let's say that the customer service reply was actually incorrect nonsense, and we still don't know who the canon Traveler is. Honestly, the event pages should still match the Traveler you chose in the game, even if Lumine isn't canon, because that's who you chose to play as. If one twin was meant to be canon in only one role, we shouldn't have been given the option to pick at the very beginning of the game. This conversation also brought up an interesting point, that being, it would be cool to have the option to switch between the Travelers, similarly to how you can switch between the Rovers in Wuthering Waves. While I'm personally happy with Lumine, I wouldn't mind having the option for this feature. Sounds fun. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I mainly talk about character design in gacha games, so if that's your jam, please check out my other videos. I feel like this doesn't need to be said, but just in case, I do like both of the twins. I don't hate Aether. I don't hate one over the other. I think Aether's English voice actor does a phenomenal job as the Abyss twin, and I really enjoy seeing Aether on screen during those moments. Even so, I think both twins have a fun charm to them in their Traveler roles. I just would like to see my chosen twin on the event pages. That's not a lot to ask for. On that note, I hope to see you in the next one.